We have a superstar in studio tonight. We got to cover the issues too. Hang in there. Welcome into My State of Mind. I am Dan Yorke. It's an honor to have you here every weeknight at 7:30. We repeat at 11:30, and of course, you can find us on foxprovidence.com/myritv. Dominic Chianese is my guest tonight. He is Junior from The Sopranos, and he's got an incredible off-the-character project that he does called The Joy of Art, where he brings art, entertainment to seniors. And it's a beautiful, beautiful project. And they've got a fundraiser tomorrow night at Kirkbrake Country Club that you're invited to, just $25 a pop, and you can spend the evening with him. We'll tell you all about that coming up this evening. But let's go to the rundown real quick, because there are issues that we've got to cover this evening. She says she's not scared. She's not as scared. The candidate for the Democratic nomination for governor here in Rhode Island. The Cranston City Council is looking for some answers, and they're not getting any, and they're frustrated with a very, very difficult story with Mayor Alan Fung and his episode when he was a teenager. There's a lot of pundits that are saying his announcement about it or his discussion of it is early. And speaking of early, the State of the State address for the state of New Jersey is early. They did it at our show production time here this afternoon, meaning I don't have clips, but I will have a few thoughts. Let's get right to the rundown and elaborate a little bit. She's not scared, says Gina Raimondo. Here's the headline from yesterday's activities. Road to governorship starts with bold agenda. Gina came to Pawtucket at the Hope Artiste building there and had a very professional presentation about her goals and dreams for Rhode Island. And as the firefighters were outside the facility, maybe 75 to 100, making noise like they do whenever she's around because they don't like her because of pensions, she had this to say.
I also knew when I took on pension reform that there would be challenges and dissenters. And there are still some that think you get your way through intimidation and bullying. But sooner or later, they're going to realize they can't scare me from doing the right thing.
I'm not certain that that's the tone, thinking about it for a day, I'm not certain that's a tone you want to take with the firefighters, because that only gets their dander up. So they're going to tail her during the entire 2014 campaign. What they've got to be wary of is whether or not they become white noise. And that's a danger that they certainly have to deal with while they're trying to make their point about her and pensions. By the way, she's also not scared to put a very progressive / liberal agenda together, including but not limited to a driver's license for undocumented citizens, not only because it makes sense for us on a safety basis, but she says because it's the right thing to do. The bid for the Latino vote here is something that we don't have time to discuss, but it is an in-depth conversation, no doubt. All right, let's move along. The Cranston City Council is looking for answers, so says the headline today. The majority of the council reportedly, a little miffed that they didn't get any memo, private briefing or anything about the police chief being relieved of his duties while the state police step in to run the show during the parking ticket extravaganza, the parking ticket blitz that happened days after the council voted in the finance committee 4-3 not to support the contract that the administration with Alan Fung had negotiated with the patrolmen's union. We had two of the city councilors who were the ward targets of the ticking blitz here last night. We were talking about the nature of this Palumbo decision. Do you have any idea what's going on with the police chief situation and why he's been asked to take a break?
No. I was completely surprised.
There's been no council briefing on that of any kind?
None whatsoever.
Whether he's guilty of anything or not, aspersions have been cast about him, and he's going to have a very difficult time reestablishing his credibility.
Let me ask you, from your... Come back to me there. There we go. The Chief Palumbo has more or less been rendered neutered. Because you take him out of his role, even when you put him back in, where's the equity, right? So I don't know what the details are with this, but I think that the council deserves to know. And frankly, I don't think the mayor ought to be shaded by the Officers' Bill of Rights in not talking about at least some of the cursory issues involved with his being moved to stage left. Stay tuned. That's Paul Arquetto and Steve Stikos, by the way, who were the councilors on the program last night. Our third issue here is about Alan Fung, and I write this for a reason. You'll understand. But here's what Susan Campbell put together last night for Eyewitness News, kind of surmising what was a very difficult day for the mayor of Cranston.
As Alan Fung makes a run for governor, he's publicly reliving what he calls the most painful thing in his life.
I wanted to get this out there and the actual facts and the truth, of what happened out on that day.
When Fung was 18 years old, he was driving home from college. Somewhere along I-95, he lost consciousness and crashed into James Skipper, who was changing a tire on the side of the road.
At some point in time, I was taken to the state police barracks in Lincoln. As we were driving on 95, it came over the radio that the person had died, and I just broke down.
Charges against Fung were dropped, and in the 90s, his arrest record was expunged. I spoke with the victim's sister over the phone. She says she hopes her brother's death isn't used against Fung.
I find it quite disgusting to think they would use this against him because it was an accident. And quite honestly, I'm happy for him that, apparently he has led a good life and educated himself and is doing well in life. I think that's great. I'm happy for him.
I am certainly grateful for their understanding. And at the appropriate time, I will probably give them a call. But that conversation is going to be private and personal.
Listen, Alan Fung is suffering over this and has been suffering since his late teen years when it happened, no doubt. And I get that. And it should not disqualify him from elected office. The politics of this thing can't be ignored, however. While the media has been somewhat empathetic about this, they haven't asked a lot of the good questions which have to do with timing of announcement and the like. I'm just going to tell you one more time, and then I'll probably be done with this. If the citizens of Cranston weren't availed to this information, what does that say about how important that race was to him? Now that the governor's race is out there for him, he thinks it's important for him to get in front of this issue. Look, you know what? It is what it is. You'll determine if you're offended by that. But here's what I am offended by. I'm offended by the political chattering class, the consultants and everybody else who suggest that he came out early on this. What's early? He was elected in 2002. He spoke to a reporter. They didn't write it, so he didn't say anything about it. There were 3 mayoral terms where he didn't mention it at all. And he suggests only based on prodding did he want to talk about this and go to the Providence Journal earlier this week. It's not early. And for those who characterize it in that political vacuum and in that context, what you're doing is you're making the political playing field the unsoulful place that it unfortunately all too often happens to be. Speaking of tough political playing fields, as we were producing the program today, Chris Christie was offering his state of the state. You see the headline here, CNN.com. CNN.com. That's not the New Jersey paper, that's CNN.com, previewing with that headline, the state of the state. It's all about Bridgegate, so to speak. And you saw the governor, earlier this week, talking about last week actually, talking about the whole thing in a much more candid and oh my gosh fashion, firing people and all that kind of thing. I think it's fascinating that the New Jersey state of the state is a national conversation. We'll talk about it tomorrow. He positioned it very quickly and then get on to state issues. We also have a state of the state in Rhode Island tomorrow. Governor Chafee takes the podium for the final time. And something tells me that won't be a national conversation. When we come back, Junior from The Sopranos with a life mission that's pretty cool. Stay with us. I watch this program sometimes in a fetal position. As a Jersey guy, an Irish Jersey guy, it was tough, but he hardly needs any introduction. Some of the B-roll. We could not use any real audio here, Mr. Chianese, because all of it had to be edited. So I already can tell by the way you carry yourself that you are a much softer, kinder, and polite character than you portrayed. It is an honor to have you on the broadcast.
Well, I'm happy to be here, Dan. Really happy.
It is you're here with Angelo Rotella, who is an old friend from the golf club, and Dr. Vin Cavallaro, who's stealing your guitar, and I think maybe you'll bring that out. Friends of mine who've been able to coordinate our guest appearance this evening. I hate to play the cliche role and ask you all the HBO Sopranos questions that everybody did.
Don't worry about it.
what a shock to lose James Gandolfini.
Exactly. It was a shock, a tragedy. We all cried, and HBO was nice enough to give us a chance to, to let it all out on a tribute, because a lot of us cried. I mean, I could hardly get through it. Jimmy was loved, and deservedly so. He was a great actor, and a great man.
The chemistry you guys had in the series.
Yeah.
I don't know what superlatives to use, but it feels like unsurpassed. I mean, the kind of thing that you guys had.
Yeah.
Talk about it a little bit.
And we had leadership too. I think I said this in the tribute. Jimmy was a kind of a leader too. It's like I've been in theater all my life, and if you got a good person, man, woman, or child playing the lead, you all want to support that. And because of that love and the way that David wrote for Jimmy, the stories that went on, he was a magnet, and we used to love to go to the readings. Let me put it that way.
Yeah, it foils. I mean, his incredible tragic passing foils this whole conversation about a return, of the series. It seems to me that the way it ended left us all kind of like fade to black. What the hell just happened there?
Yeah.
So, no more.
Yeah,
right?
Well, I don't even know if that was in the horizon, because I know that David did say that he always knew the answer. He always knew the ending when he first started writing. He knew the ending, and I think that was his masterpiece, and I think he finished it. I don't think there was one forthcoming. I doubt it.
How did you do?
But I don't know for sure.
How did you do with all the social conversation, social cultural conversation that went along with The Sopranos about the reflection of Italian Americans? And all of that kind of thing. I don't need a long question.
Sometimes you get off a curb in the street and you look left and a car hits you from the right. You got to look both ways in life. You got to look both. You got to realize that the artistry of David Chase, who happened to be Italian, the artistry of the writer, and the artistry of James Gandolfini, supported by the rest of the actors, that's a work of art. It's got nothing to do with the denigration of a particular company. It's a work of art,
People took it too seriously. Some.
Yeah, well, some Italians did. They took it too seriously, but nothing can. Italians brought so much to this country, from music and everything like that. And you're going to look at askance at it. Well, we brought so much to the country, and the art, including art, and that's what counts. So they were looking the wrong way. I used to tell them that you're looking the wrong way. Well, my father worked as an American.
What was fun for me, though, growing up in Jersey, was just the whole thing. Whether you're Irish, Italian, whatever ethnicity, the Jersey that came out of The Sopranos. Yeah. Now, you have to understand something. The reason I like being in Rhode Island is because I call it North Jersey. There's no difference between Johnston, Rhode Island, and Hackensack. Right. I can tell you. So it was an incredible portrayal and a signature on the culture of Americana that will never be repeated.
And this country is based on doing something for your family. If you look at my father, he worked so hard for me to become what I wanted to become as an American, an actor. So you can't blame us for being artists. We're not denigrating anything.
So when you walk in the world and people stop you and they recognize you, and how could they not? And they meet this kind, gentle, it must crack you up. You must go to bed at night thinking, I had them all fooled.
Yeah, and I like to accommodate. They just want to take a picture and say hello, and and that's a nice thing to do. Yeah, that's a nice thing. We just named the street after Jimmy, James Gandolfini Way in Park Ridge, New Jersey. They named the street, and the whole town.
That's where my Uncle Tom lived, 176 off the Parkway.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah, the state senator came there. I mean, he was loved, and it's entertainment.
No doubt. All right, well, it's also entertainment what this great project has in store for so many seniors, and a terrific way for you to meet my guest, if you'd like, tomorrow. Stay with us.
We have to build a foundation so we can send people in every state in the union and realize that these elderly people need someone to be interested in them enough to bring their art to them.
That's off the website that we're showing you with Dominic Chinese's. Almost, it feels like a life work. You're just emanating how important this whole thing is.
It's been
for
going
you.
on a long time. And back in the 80s, I worked in the recreation department of St. Cabrini nursing homes for a couple of years, for many years actually, in between acting jobs. So I know what I'm talking about. I came from the experience of working with thousands of old people who needed attention, who needed somebody to sing with, to do like we did in the old days when we were all growing up. Days before TV.
Therapy.
Therapy, exactly. We can't call it that because you can't get money when we call it therapy. It's an entertainment. It's a two-way thing.
So reset
But it
this.
is therapeutic.
You're going to be at a few nursing homes tomorrow. This is something that you've been working on for how many years now?
Oh, since '82.
Since 1982.
82. I've been. That's when it started.
And back then, you weren't really defined as a senior citizen.
No, I was only 50 then.
Right.
Yeah.
You're
a
little
I'm
younger
82.
than I am.
Now I'm
right
82.
82 and
Yeah.
82 going on
Yeah.
50 still. You're in great
Exactly.
shape. You don't
Exactly.
have any of those challenges, but
Right.
we all have challenges. But it must be even more meaningful to you now. All
Yeah.
these years having gone by,
Yeah.
and now these are your contemporaries that
Yes.
you are entertaining.
And this man from Providence named Angelo Rotella got me
Yeah.
involved with American Healthcare Association. Angelo happens to be here today, and he understands that whole world. And we accidentally, I think, destiny put us together because he made me realize, in the sense that you can have all the vision, but you have to have somebody to show you how to do it. And Angelo connected me with the American Healthcare Association. Because
So that's enabled you to network and get and get
that
more
started.
entrenched
And
with this
now
work.
we have
Is it a nationwide effort?
It's going to be.
It is.
It's going to be.
And so you sing.
I've been to Kansas. I've been to California.
Who else is involved in bringing the art to the seniors?
Well, there is nobody that does it the way we do it.
Really?
Yeah, there's no one in the country because we do it every day, every week they go.
All right.
You see.
Dr. Kev, bring the guitar up here.
Yeah.
And smile
Yeah.
for the camera because there's never a camera you haven't smiled for.
Thanks,
he's a
thanks,
good guy.
Vinny.
Well, we only got his back. Well, we'll get him later.
Yeah,
this is just what do I need to say? Just
You go
so
to any nursing home,
yeah.
they're sitting in the corridors. They're all in wheelchairs against the wall, and you come in and you go in. You can just come in and go like. Pretty soon, everybody starts singing and tapping their feet.
Sweetheart.
That's let me call you sweetheart. Sing it. I'm in love with you.
I don't want to ruin this.
Let me hear you whisper that you love me to keep the love light glowing in your eyes so true. Oh, let me call you sweetheart. I'm in love with you. And I'll spend 2 hours just singing a song, any old song or new songs even.
Who knew?
Who knew?
Did you have any episodes in the series?
We had one
where
when
you
David
sang?
Hughes, we sang Cordon Grado, yeah. He has Uncle Junior, had a couple of glasses of wine, and there was David's great sense of humor. It wasn't a wedding, it was a funeral.
Right,
And
right,
he said,
right.
all right, I'll sing, shut up, and he gets up and he starts singing.
So, tell me what else happens when you arrive.
What happens is that you spend 2 hours, and the people, they are stimulated. They feel loved, and they feel entertained, and I get them to sing. So the kind of artists that I'm looking for are people that have, number one, empathy and love for the elderly, who happen to have a good talent. But the point is that they become like family, Dan. We become like, I'm like family. I actually do go myself as a volunteer. We need money to send more people like that.
Right. Well, the Joy of Art is we have the website, and you're looking at a Facebook page here, so we're posting that. But I also want to, if you would like to help with the cause, and also be entertained by a star who carries himself like every regular guy you'd ever want to meet. Dominic Chianese, keep at Kirkbride tomorrow. Everyone knows where Kirkbride is, on Old River Road in Lincoln. 6:30 tomorrow night. Tickets are $25. And again, benefiting Joy through art. And I only got a minute or so left in this segment, so I'd rather just have you carry it out. Sing me another tune, will you?
I like to see the old neighborhood once again. You know, see Charlie and Pete. We had a quartet that was mighty hard to beat. Remember that? Heart of my heart. Sing it, Danny. Friends were dearer than. Heart of my heart.
Don't know the words, but doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter, my friend, when we were kids on the corner of the street. We were rough and ready guys, but oh, how we could. Oh, that's Vinny Mimic Cavallaro.
Tomorrow night, Kirkbrake Country Club. Sir, it's an honor.
Yep.
It is an absolute honor. I'm coming. All right. Your state of mind when we come back. Stay with us.
Thanks.
Great. You know, I failed to mention that Dominic Chianese is still doing television. He's on The Good Wife. He's a judge and Boardwalk Empire. Phenomenal. What a great visit. Your state of mind, maybe you want to react. 228-1886, leave a voicemail. stateofmind@myiritv.com is the email. And, of course, you can tweet at us or Facebook post Dan Yorke Show with the E. Here's a voicemail.
One of the things that really irked me is this Gina Raimondo there, and I don't think she's good for Rhode Island at all. I'm sorry. That I guess so far I'm whittled back down the Ken Block for my choice of governor right now.
That's Dan from Coventry lamenting his only one choice. Dan, stay tuned. A lot of things change in 2014, and she may not be good for you now, but she may say something next month that changes your whole disposition. Keep an open mind. It's good for the process. We'll see you tomorrow night on My State of Mind. I am Dan Yorke, and it's an honor to have you tuned in.